you doing? Alright, we're going to talk about waves this morning. We're going to talk about two things. One is waves, and the other is the idea that we tend to withhold physics demonstrations until high school or university level when they should be presented at the primary level, because the physical actions involved in the demonstration are actually that simple. For instance, what do you need to know how to do to use a plasma ball? You need to turn it on, touch it, and turn it off. Admittedly, turning things off is a learned behavior that a lot of kids do not acquire until elementary school. You wind up wasting a lot of batteries in the classroom because turning off is related to the idea of a toddler who just plays with something and then drops it, literally just drops it and moves on to the next thing. Turning off is like that. Kids need to learn to turn things off. Alright, so now we're going to talk about waves. I've got an aluminum rod here that I bought from Home Depot for $7. Use a chop saw to cut it roughly 2/3 to 1/3. It doesn't have to be exact because the physical principle is the same regardless of the exact length. We're going to discuss longitudinal waves and transverse waves. There's a language issue here because the words, I think, intimidate people. Transverse, longitudinal, like they're big words. And so you think little kids shouldn't deal with those. But it's like saying, you know, I shouldn't teach you what meringue means or what souffle means. They're just words. So transverse means that I can make this rod vibrate sideways. Or longitudinal means I can make it vibrate long ways. It just depends on how I hit it. It also depends on how I hold it. There's a control of error here. I mean, I can't just like fist it. That won't give you anything. So it becomes a matter of the pincer grasp. You have to hold it, and then you have to find the sweet spot. Now let's see if I can get it. That was pretty good. When you're hitting sideways, you're going for the transverse wave, you're looking for the lower pitch. That was not so good. That was not good at all. Getting there. There it is. One more time. Now you always get a mix of both. You don't just get a transverse wave or just get a longitudinal wave. It vibrates both ways. You can emphasize one over the other. The lower one is the transverse wave. It's the bell tone. Now if you come up here, you're going to hit it on the end. Now this is another control of error because this actually requires some dexterity. You actually have to hit it on the end squarely. So you got that, right? You get those are the upper harmonics of the bass note. Now you see I missed it. That's a control of error. That's a good clean one. It depends on where you're holding it and what those upper harmonics are. Got a little lower. That was a good one. Now, you can hear this, but you can also feel it. This is a tactile exercise. It comes across as being auditory, but it's really tactile. There's a high one. So the point is that this is something a little kid can do. You don't have to be a college student to make longitudinal and transverse waves, and there's nothing that difficult about the language involved. They're just like longer words. So there you go, longitudinal and transverse waves.